basic warm-ups. The way I like to do warm-ups is in a way that I can easily remember them in the future. So what I do is usually start from the top and work my way down. So the first one I like to do is arms up, point your fingers up, and circle. And every time you circle, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Don't worry about going fast on this. This isn't exercise or stretch or a warm-up routine about being fast. This is just about getting your muscles warmed up and going. Now this time we're going to go the other way, but as we go the other way, the circle is going to get smaller and smaller. Remember, we're not moving with our wrists or elbows, we're circling with our shoulders. Okay, good. Now the next one, take your hands, put your fingers here, touching your shoulders. Big circles. We're going to make big circles with our elbows. Again, not concerned with speed. Concerned about just good, fluid motions. Other way, try your best in these warm-ups not to make any herky-jerky, quick motions like that. If your muscles are not warmed up, that could be bad. Okay, good. Stop. Now, tilt your head to the side. A lot of people will say you don't need to warm up because you're not able to warm up before a real life self-defense situation. I disagree with them. Well, I'm pretty sure that you're not usually able to warm up before a real life self-defense street situation. Now tilt your head back. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't warm up when you could. Head down. So warm up as much as you could, and to say what they say, to me, sounds like them saying, well, at some point in your life, you're going to be in a swimming pool where a little kid's going to pee in the swimming pool, so you should always just be in a pool that a little kid swims in or pees in the swimming pool. I think that's bad logic. So head up, look over your left shoulder. So anytime you are, if you unfortunately ever do find yourself in a real life on the street self-defense situation, tilt your head the other way. Yes, that is true. You'll probably not be able to warm up, and your performance will probably suffer for it, and later you may even get some injuries because of it. I know I have. Head straight, but hopefully we'll never be in that situation, but we can be in a regular practice workout routine, and so that will occur much more often, so you should warm up. You should stretch out. So, now put your feet together, hands on your hips. Now we're going to circle with our hips. Try not to circle with your head. Big circles with your hips. It's called the hula stretch. I think it's obvious why. Other way. I find this a very helpful stretch, especially if for us older people, if you are driving a lot, you're in the car a lot, and my lower back starts to ache after a while, and I think this helps with that. I am not a doctor though, so please consult your physician. So now we're going to move down further. Stand on one foot, and the other foot's going to come up on the toes. From here, circle. Circle the other way. Good. Switch. Circle. Circle the other way. Good. Stop. Now we went from head to toe, so now we're going to kind of go back up just a little bit. So hands here, circle the wrist. Circle the other way. I've seen some instructors and some schools do it where they go back and forth and back. That's fine too, whatever works best for you. Just be really careful if you've not warmed up your wrists, stretched those out yet. If you do it very quickly in a jerking sort of motion, it might actually hurt your wrist a little bit, so go slow. Okay, good. Now, usually what I do from there is I usually go down to the ground. Hopefully you'll be indoors or in a nice spot, not outside like this, but I'm going to make the sacrifice so you learn. So we're going to be on the ground. Put your feet out. This is for the inside of the legs. You really do, if you can, want this to be stretched out, warmed up if possible. It helps movement a lot. The times that I have injured myself in sort of self-defense, real life self-defense situations where I didn't have time to warm up was always in this area here on the inside of my leg. All right, so hands up over your head. I'm gonna go side to side, touch both hands to one foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now, stay right there. In this stretch, if you bring your legs back in or bend your knees between the sets, it's almost like you have to restart, like you've lost some of your progress. So now, take one leg, stretch it back a little bit further. You can do both legs, but to me, I think it's easier just to do one leg. So hands up. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now, take the other leg. We're doing 3 sets of this. Stretch it out just a little bit further. Hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, excellent. Now, from there, what we're going to do is take our hands, put them in front, right here. Now, if that starts to give you a little bit of a stretch, you start to feel a little bit uncomfortable at that point, that's where you need to stop. But if you can, kind of walk your hands out just a little bit further so that you lean forward a little bit further. If you still feel comfortable, go a little bit further. If you don't, stop right there. If you feel okay, go a little bit further. And remember, there's different types of pain, really. There's, well, I'm slightly uncomfortable pain. And then there's, I just heard something go snap, crackle, or pop. That second one, that's when you need to stop or take a step back. A little bit further. If you can. If you can't, that's okay. Hold where you're at. Or even retract a little bit. If you can, keep on going till you can get all the way down, forehead to the ground. Then when you're done, very slowly, come back up. Don't go fast. Now for this next one, always been a bit of a challenge for me, even when I was a kid. Pull your feet in together. Grab your feet with both hands. Stay there as you breathe in through your nose. Try to relax your legs. Do not make this like bobbing up and down motion. That actually is pretty bad for you. So just kind of relax. Stay there as you breathe in. Breathe out. Pull your forehead down. Your goal is to get your nose to your toes, if you can. But again, you get to a point where it's too uncomfortable. You hear something go snap, crackle, or pop, you should stop. Stay there as you breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. Usually you want to do that, hold that for about 10 seconds. Further if you need to, or for a longer period if you need to. Or you can do a little bit shorter time and build up to a bigger time if you like. So that's the basic warm-ups. At the end, you could even add squats and push-ups, which is what we do a lot of times in our in-person classes. So we have traditional 5 elements. In most purely Singhi schools, they would not use the word traditional in front of saying 5 elements. But since we have another version that is a little bit more on the side of more modern moves and more modern ideas of self-defense. The older, more traditional version, I always call traditional 5 elements. So it's just like the modern version. It is 5: metal, water, wood, fire, and earth. I always personally start with metal. That's the way I teach it. But it is, if you think of it, like a circle. So that really means there's no beginning or end. So once you learn them, you can start it wherever you want to, whatever your first element is, or maybe there's no first element. You start randomly, different ones, different times. They all are pretty similar. They all have a count. Usually the count is 4 up, 4 back, turn, and then maybe 1 or 2 up and back, and then bow and salute, and you're done. If you're practicing on your own, you can break that down. You can do just the technique, or you can do a count of 2, or 4, or 6, or 12, or 112, whatever you want. Once you get really good at them, you're free to kind of alter them to help you come up with ideas and different ways to use them, different ways to practice them. All right. So today we will start with traditional metal. Now, when you're doing these traditional 5 elements, you start sort of left foot forward, but you're not really all the way out like you would on a lot of forms. So it's kind of catty corner. So if that is north, my body's kind of aligned northwest. So, hand here, so bow, salute, come around, ready position. Now, the first thing is this hand comes here, it's going to come over, like this circular motion. Once you get that down, you can make that smaller motion, but for now, for training purposes and learning purposes, we're going to do this in kind of a big motion. Then our back foot picks up in steps, and our right hand follows. There, okay? So let's remember one of the rules of Xing Yi, Kung Fu, is that your arms and legs kind of work together. A general kind of way to look at it, or general rule back in the day was wrists and ankles, elbows and knees, shoulders and hips, head, neck, hips. Like there's an alignment. Okay, so all these things are working on the alignment. So bow, salute. So come around and make sure we're stepping with that. Make sure you have a solid step when it comes down. 2. All right. Now, if we think of applications, we could think of that as a block as we're stepping in, strike, strike. We could think of that as grab the wrist, grab the shoulder. That's actually my favorite. We could even think of it, grab the wrist, grab the shoulder, then down to the ground. That is the one in my mind that happens most often. Right, so let's go from bowing, bow, salute. So block, or that could just be kind of a repositioning motion, step, here. Again, bow, salute, around. Okay, so now that's the motion. That's the technique. We're going to do that all the way up, all the way down. So if we're doing the actual form, we bow, salute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll turn in my traditional turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. Now, I could go up 2 more, but I'm feeling pretty good here. So, salute and bow. All right, so let's do it one more time, facing the other direction. Then I'll do it facing the camera. So remember now, I'm still going, if that was north and I was going northwest, so that's south, southeast. I'm still going at that catty corner, that corner. So bow, salute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. Salute and back. Now we're going to do it with me facing the camera. So I am here, catty corner again. Bow. Salute. So 1, 2. Just like a lot of the traditional forms, we're going to be on our center line here. 3, 4. And I'll turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry to put my back to you, but I wanted to keep it consistent. So that is traditional medal as I teach it and as I practice it. Next in the traditional 5 elements is water. At least that's the way I do it. That's the order I do it. Now this one is pretty easy, and I think once you learn the form, it's really easy to remember, or kind of a memory trick to put with it is why it's called water, or at least for me it is. It's a pretty simple thing. There are some moves that could be confused with similar moves. Once you get the form down, it's okay to change that, to alter that. That's fine. But for starters, we're going to do the traditional side of it, okay? Now, just like the last one, we're going to start left side forward, or left side catty corner. So north again, north, northwest. So my body's aligned that way, but I'll be going north. So I'll start here in my traditional bow and salute, come around here. Now, what I'm going to do now is take this left leg. I'm in my San Ti, my dragon stance, but I'm going to take this left leg and step it out in a little bit of a lunge. Be really careful about this. I know there's lots of ideas on, is it okay to put your feet out or keep them close? I've seen it work both ways, but yes, there is a danger to putting your foot out. Once your feet do get spread out, it's much easier to slip and fall. So generally, it's better to keep them closer. But in this case, we're going to step out. Left hand blocks. This is against sort of that wild swing that, let's see if we probably used to call it that Billy Bob swing. So you're blocking there, and at the same time, your right hand strikes low. Okay? So imagine my opponent right here. They swing, we step out, block and strike. Okay? Outside block, palm strike low, really targets the groin. If you are worried about that lunge and you don't want your feet so spread out apart, you can always step that up and make it a full lunge. Okay? That's fine. So we do our bow and our salute, come around to our opening, step, block, and strike. Okay? Again. Bow, salute, come up, block, and strike. Now, from here, your right hand makes a fist, it closes. Your left hand's going to go down. As that left hand goes down, your right hand pulls back and does a water strike. Sort of looks like an uppercut, but it's a different angle. An uppercut has this sort of circular kind of arc to it, right? But this doesn't do that. This is going to go straight, well, at an angle. So think of this as like you're blocking down, striking to the throat maybe, or to the lower jaw, the ear, something like that. You could think of that as an entire combination, the first half of the form with the second half. You could think of that as an entire combination, but I like to think of them as two separate moves. All right, and what I mean by that is, let's do it again. After we do our opening, block, strike the groin, palm strike the groin, that's one move. Now as I step, that's two moves. Okay, we do not have to put that together in a combination. You can, but in my opinion, the bigger, longer combinations you make, with the increased amount of stepping, I think it gets a little bit more wonky. Wonky is a scientific term. Bow. Salute, and we're open. Step, block, one. Grab. Pull it back, or close. Pull it back, step, down, water strike. Now from there, we're just going to go to our San-Ti, our dragon stance, and we'll do it exactly the same thing, but opposite side. So, step, block, palm strike, make a fist. This pulls back. As I do, this is going to block down, step, water strike. There are two ways to turn. Really, there's a bunch of ways, but we're going to step it into a horse stance, but our traditional turn, this comes out. That's one way to do it. Another way you can do it is our version of the crane block. I kind of like that because it feels more water, but this has a lot of moves you'll see come up later. So for now, let's say a crane block, since that's the way I originally taught it. So here. Now from here, go back to our San-Ti. Just little small adjustments. Step, block, palm strike, grab, step, block down, water strike to the throat. Back to your San-Ti. Step out, block, palm strike low, make a fist. Step, block down, here. Go into your horse, water strike, or crane block. And from there, bow and salute. If you notice, I only did 2 of the segments. I only did a 2 count up, a 2 count back. You could do 4 normally, and if I was practicing, I would do 4 up, 4 back. But I didn't have the space on the camera range to do that, so I stuck with 2. That's okay. When I was in college, I had a very small apartment room, my bedroom, and that's where I'd practice. And I could never get more than a 2 count on any form. So I'd always keep a very short distance I would travel on my forms, and I was turn very quickly. That's okay. You do what you can. So let's try this again. We'll do it again with a 2 count. And go this direction. I'm heading north. Although, just so you know, that's not really north. And that's really north. But so from here, step, block, strike, grab, step, block down, water strike. Reset your stance. Right here, block, grab, or palm strike, make a fist, grab, however you want to think of it. Pull back, step, here. Turn, crane block, or earth. Or alternatively, hammer fist, if you really like. Myself personally, crane block feels coolest to me. Reset, block, palm strike, make a fist, step, water strike, reset. Lunge, block, palm strike, make a fist, step, here. Crane block, salute, and back. All right, so that's going in our north direction. Now we're going to go this direction. Again, I'm heading south now, this direction. But my stance is lined up at that angle first. Now, salute. Here. So step, block, palm strike, make a fist. Water strike, reset. Block, palm strike, make a fist, step. Water strike, turn, crane block. Could be earth. Reset. Step, block, palm strike, make a fist, here. Boom. Step, here. Fist, turn, crane. Now, that's also a really good one. I've done that a little bit more hard. If you want to make it more of a soft form, you certainly can. Or that's one you can mix up. What I mean by that is, think of it like Tai Chi. It'll be very easy in your own practice to make that very much like a Tai Chi form. Or a tournament or whatever you want. That's fine. A lot of instructors wouldn't like that. I don't care as long as it works for you. Remember, Xing Yi is force of your will. Emphasis of your. Alright, so now we're doing it this way. Bow. Salute. here, step, block, palm strike, grab, step, here. I'm still generally going straight forward on my center line, but I'm a little bit off, a little bit to the side as far as my movements, but my attacks are pretty much going forward. So that's traditional 5 elements water. Now for traditional 5 elements wood. This one's one of my favorites, and the reason why I think it's one of my favorites is as a kid I kind of started doing a lot of this technique without knowing or have learned Singi yet. I would do this a lot in my sparring. I like it because it's you can very much turn it into a chain punch, which I really like in the hand-to-hand sparring situations. But also it works really good with a lot of weapons, like spear and sword. And it's just a natural fit for those things. So if you are doing something, some armored combat, SCA, anything like that, a lot of this works really good once you get it kind of figured out on how to place it. So the way I do this is wood is the third one in the 5 elements. Metal, water, wood. It is very much straight line. It's pretty simple to learn, hard to master, I would say. But also the turn is really unique with this one, and it's different from a lot of the other ones. So, as usual with the traditional 5 elements, we're going to start going this way, north, but my body is aligned catty corner to northwest. So I can do my bow and salutes, do my opening, my Santi, my dragon stance. Now, from here, my left hand's going to do just like a little kind of a sweeping inside block. I don't know that that is traditional. That's something I picked up a long time ago and always have done. It seemed natural, so I kind of go with it. Some people just go straight into it, I'm sure. But for me, this goes down. Now, our right hand is going to come up in a vertical punch. So, when we're doing our vertical punch, it's here, thumb on top. Do not put the thumb underneath. I know that's very popular. Some people recommend that. Myself personally, here, that aligns the tendons a little bit better in the arm. You do have to worry about that getting pulled back though, so you have to really kind of dig that in. But as that does that, your back foot's going to push up. Your front foot's going to lift a little bit. It's not quite a lunge, but similar. Then when you land the punch, your back foot's going to stomp down. Scientifically, that's called kinetic linking. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I may have went off frame there a little bit. Now, here's the idea. One of the ideas, really, is if I'm facing you, this block, that's just to clear the hands. You wouldn't necessarily have to do that. I often do that. So your first punch, though, is going to go over your front hand. Your next punch, the previous one goes down a little bit, and it goes over. It's almost like it's on a straight line going toward the opponent. I've heard it said that one of the old school ideas was that your lead hand kind of hides the following punch. I don't know if that would be practical. I've never asked anyone after using that technique, but that's what they claim. So let's try this again. This is wood. Here. Pull these back so you can see my hand. So a little block there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how this back foot steps up. That's a good thing when you're doing it this way. These little small single steps. This is what this is with us, single step. This is actually where we get the single step in our style. But do not think of it like you're Igor from the old Frankenstein movies. You're not dragging your foot. That's going to slow you down, and it's just bad. It's just bad. So here, so down. So here. So block, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're doing it with the breathing, and we've not really went into that yet, but in singing there is breathing. With this one, it's in through the nose, out through the nose. So it would be so explosive. Every time you punch, explosive breath out. It's really good to practice that way. You may clear your sinuses out. It does that with me a lot. So try it. Well, let's back up a little bit. Try it again. Here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's where the turn gets weird that I talked about. It's your traditional turn at first. You come out here. But then, we're going to do a little extra technique. This arm comes up and is going to do your water strike. Almost like an uppercut, just like we did in the water 5 element. As that happens, this is going to block down. So this looks a lot like the second part of water. But at the same time, you're going to do your dragon kick. Step it down. Now you're going to do the same thing as in metal, except your arms will start opposite. Okay? So from this angle, it'd be as if I turned here. Okay? Please make that look a lot prettier, more fluid. So we do our 4 punches. We end up here. Turn. This comes around. Boom. Grab. You can go as low or as high as you want. Traditionally, I'm sure they would go very low and lean forward. I'm not a fan. So here. Now we're going to do the same thing again, except now we have to step up with our back foot. All right, so from here, block. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do our traditional turn. There. So 1, 2. Salute and back. So if you're a stickler for counting, what I just did was 4 up, turn, 4 down, turn, 2 up, bow and salute. I know this is being recorded, but I always want to say, are there any questions? So 1, 2, 3, 4, turn, grab here, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn, spread, 1, 2, salute, and bow. Now, I don't think I need to do it this direction now, but I will do it toward the camera. So bow, salute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do your standard turn. Turn to your dragon turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go where you can see me. I'll do my turn. 1, 2. There we go. And that is traditional 5 elements wood. 3 out of the series of 5, if you want to think of it that way. So let's do this. Let's start by coming over here. So, our block that we're working on. Rolling brush. So, rolling brush is not just a block because it actually uses several different blocks together. So it's more of a tactic or an idea. Principle, I guess I would say. So, I'll say what happens if we're explaining it from the top. He punches at me and I block. Well, now that's fine and that's a good block. But let's say I want to get in closer, but if I just block his arm out a little bit, then I want to move in closer, he can still block me. He can still move and have his arm, right? But if I block it really far, then I overextend. Now he just hit me with that arm. So the difference is when he blocks a rolling brush, kind of worries about both problems. He says, well, the way we fix it is maybe we block and move in closer,
block again. These are all very small blocks, so when we put them together, there, so it's actually 2 blocks, right? So if he's punching, inside block, and then doing the outside block just like we practiced outside. So I'm pushing, step closer, outside block, then I move in. From there, you can throw another strike, just like that, right? So what we're gonna do with our partner is we're gonna punch, 1, 2, and you step in. Try to get your knee close to their knee. If you're practicing at home without someone, just go through the motion. Right, so that'll be right there. Okay. Right, so let's do that with our partner. So you can go first, me. So, you punch me first or? Okay, so, punch, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Switch on. Try that. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, also too, and we all know this, but one thing I think about, if you're in a real fight, someone punches at you, they don't do like we practice, or like MMA practice, where they leave it there, right? The real fight, when they punch, they pull back. That's why I like their own brush, because if you punch and try to pull back, when you just pull back. Still right up on them, I can still move into that range, that short range square. I've got the advantage of take away his punch.
And most people are swinging this way anyway.
Right. Yeah, so there's lots of ways to do it.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Alright, so let's switch our attackers. Start with the right hand. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now switch arms. Attacking arms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Try hard enough to do it.
I'm just saying, I've never played golf.
So it's like that thing that say that if you would do it drunk, then you would do it sober too. And now I'm on the other sleep naked in the middle of stuff.
It's fine, I'll get all this in post. I'm good at that. I'm really good at that. Alright, now self-defense. We're going to talk about the basic knife self-defense. This is if someone comes up and they're trying to step low to the stomach. The self-defense, that's called the pop. So real quick, let's review this. Is where we stand up here, feet kind of like a natural stance. I stand there. You push your feet back like a little hop, a little jump, and then stick your butt out in the air. And as you do that, both hands go down, a low block. You're not blocking the knife, don't forget, you're blocking the block. Alright, so let's grab a partner, let's try this. You want that me first? So we tap, right there, put our body back. Put our body back to get it, our stomach away from on my count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and switch out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that is the top. Now also, we can use the outside block. So if I'm swinging more of a slashing motion, he can do the outside block, just like that, blocking the arm, not the knife. So let's practice that a few times. 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's it. Alright, switch out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Thank you. Good. So those 2 of the knife subjects.